Okay, just trying to get this set up still, sorry. Alrighty, we can finally start painting. Sorry, you have to look at the messy studio, but alright. So, upon looking at... So, sort of the triptych works like this, where it's these two decks, and then, or this one, then that one, and then this one. Sorry, Instagram, you probably can't see this at all, but this is kind of what I was thinking. But the issue is this one being on the right stands out too much, and it doesn't really make sense if it's like that. So what I have to do is I either have to change the skin tones on these other ones so they're just like all three witches, or I have to, which I don't really want to do. I kind of like how these other ones are. So I think I actually have to tint all of her skin blue-ish. So I think that's what we're gonna do. That is what we are going to do today. And so this is kind of like I should be using acrylic medium, but I'm just going to use some clear gesso. Apologies. It is what it is. I am what I am, you know. So that is what is going on. Okay, sorry, just trying to get all of my windows set up. Okay. Ugh. So I could use water to thin this down, and I was using water to thin my paints like earlier today, but I actually kind of ideally you want to use a medium, and gesso is arguably not a medium, but it's gonna work the same. It has acrylic, or it's gonna be similar. It has acrylic binders in it. It's a little bit more textural. So that's the only thing I'm a little concerned about, but it should be fine. The main thing is I'm trying to just make something super translucent. I mean, I might have to just paint her over again, but I don't... And I would maybe... Like, it's easier for me to paint in creepy dead skin tones than it is for me to paint in, like, human skin tones, which is kind of ironic. But so, changing this middle deck, this one, into like warm colors, I think breaks up. I don't think it works with the piece itself, to be honest. So that's where we're going. And I am going to have to thin this out with water because the gesso is made to be kind of thick, which I should have remembered. But So in some ways, this like sort of mistake is kind of cool because it gives me this really rich base. And I'm gonna have to repaint some of this anyway, but it's fine. And if you get too much water, you get like, I don't know if you can see it, but there's like bubbles down here which aren't looking super great. I'm probably going to have to go back in to blend in these shadows a little bit more, but in some ways this is kind of, I need to mix out some purple. In some ways this is kind of nice in the way that like the orange is still coming through enough. And this purple will start like kind of blending in a little bit nicer. What up, Ladybird Thulu? Oh, another Thulu. How is it going? Okay. Now we get into the tricky part of blending the shadows in, I think. Cooking dinner, playing with the pup. Excellent. What kind of puppy do you have, or what kind of dog? I know it might not actually be a puppy, but
You must find them. You must kill them.
I'm gonna have to tint this with my. Where's my other paint color? I very much need my cadmium red light. Where did you go? Cavalier King Charles Spaniel. A demanding princess. Fun. Fun. Yeah. I get that. Although I have cats, so. But they're both quite demanding, and they both make their demands known quite readily. Alright. Yeah. Like, not playing fast enough. Not playing fast enough. Yeah. I get those vibes. I definitely get those vibes. Alright. So I don't know where my tube of CAD red light went, which is very not good because I based that as a core color of the earlier painting, so I'd like to be able to like come back with it a little bit. So instead I'm going to try to use some fluorescent red and figure things out. And you can't really see my mixing, so apologies, but that's what I'm doing. The only problem with doing that is that if anyone ever shines black light on this, this is going to be like a super weird ass painting. So, but hopefully no one does. Oh, right on. All good. So we are... I think we're getting there. Although I think having just the green be like the skin tone isn't going to cut it for most of this. Oh, what's up, Courtney? Thanks for swinging by. Lady Berthulu, I am, I did not self-taught. I went to art school. Draw pencil, pen, painter, color. Coloring is tedious. Can't make up my mind. That's totally makes sense. I think I tell this to a lot of people who are like, they're like, oh, I only draw or I only paint, or whatever. Is that like, it depends. I always tell people when you're looking at something, like, figure out what, like if I were to say picture a bird, do you see like the outlines of the bird or do you see like planes of a bird? And I find that if you see planes, painting is easier for you, and if you see lines, drawing is probably going to be easier for you. Oh, thanks. Appreciate it, Courtney. She was a lot warmer, and I'm actually trying to make her fit more with this one. A little bit more cohesion. Like, she's kind of yellowish and purple. She's going to be sort of reds and purple, or like pinks and purples, and then I have this one, which is going to be like green, or sorry, like blues and purples. So that's kind of the whole idea. Also, sorry, I know Instagram sucks because it crops it really weird and like, I don't know, it's hard to see. But yeah, planes versus lines, 100% Courtney. Yeah, she's definitely looking too alive compared to the others. Oh, thank you for the sub. Ala Bernardo? Sorry. I couldn't really see your name that came up, but appreciate it. And thanks, Lady Berthulu. Octopus monsters tentacles look good to you. Oh, thanks. Oh, Colt Crafter, thank you. Thanks. I'm assuming you came in via backing. Thanks so much for the support. Yeah, Colt Crafter is done. Or not done, but the campaign is done. Which is, to be honest, that's like the hardest part of it for me. Oh, cool. Awesome. Thank you, Lady Birdthulu. Yeah, for me, the campaigns are much harder because it's just like so much sustained, like trying to, like, I hate selling, and I feel like it's just like, ugh, I gotta like get everybody. It feels very salesy, and I don't really like it. I'd much rather just talk about like the technical parts of making games and making art and like actually doing that than necessarily being like, check out this amazing thing I made, please buy it. But I'm glad you did. I'm glad you did, and it resonated. It's just the part that is like I admit is like much more difficult for me. No, and you're not distracting me, Courtney. Feel free. This is me streaming and me trying to think about what's going on. Yeah, the will to art is gone if it's business. Yeah, it's tough, you know. I think it's tough because it just takes you so much out of the likely reason why you got started in the first place, which is just for the love of the thing that you're making, you know? And then you have to think about, like, tariffs and shipping containers and ROI and everything else, and it's like, but fun or nothing, that's fair. Yeah, it seems like we got a lot of folks that are like, I mean, it's a pretty common thing, right? It's like we do, like, art is not something that is a thing that most people are like, you know what? You want to make a lot of money? Go make art. Like, that's not like a thing in our society, unfortunately. And to me, I think a lot of the hesitation or the part I don't like about the art is, or about the selling part, is that it's like, it's super personal, right? It's like you made this thing and you have to now go and like it's not good enough to just say, hey, I have this thing, you know? It's like, oh, I have to actually go and like try to convince people or something. Because then if you don't, then people are like, I don't know. Yeah, people. Yeah, you know, I try to, like, I try to remember that, like, no one needs the thing that I'm making. You know, like, at the end of the day, like, you don't need my game. It's a nice to have, and I think I'm always like honored that people like my art enough to pay me for it. Um, Sorry, just trying to smooth that over a little bit with my finger. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I try not to take it personal, I think, because oh, thanks. You do need my game. Yeah, I love what you said, Aliberndo. Like, success is really about what we make it, and it's easy to say that it's money, you know, but because that's like an objective goal, right? It's like a goal that you can measure and you can show someone else, versus like, I had a great time making this piece, and people were like, well, that's cool, I guess, but I don't know. Yeah, making art without worrying about material costs is a real thing, or having to work another job while making art. Yeah, I mean, it's like I do other work beyond just making art, for sure. So I feel you. Vibes there. But you know, like, I honestly think that, like, the part about not letting stuff get me down, or like rejection, like, because I'll be honest, like this campaign was super rough for me, at one point. So I've also, like, it took a lot to make this game happen in the time frame that it did, because one, I had already volunteered to do Pintopia, which was like a pin campaign, like Pocketopia but enamel pins, in January. And right before that happened, I live in Pasadena, so the LA fires came and I had to evacuate for a week, and I like just ran out of my house with my cats, and like I didn't have any way of like designing pins or working on the card game. And because I didn't back up all of my art files, Cult Crafter wouldn't have happened if my house actually burned, or my apartment actually burned down. Like, I wouldn't have been able to catch up. Like, it wouldn't have happened. So like like this was like so just all of that is really just to say that the past 3 months have been just like me staying up constantly trying to like get everything done for the campaign. I'm at 2 campaigns, get all the enamel pins done, get all of the game art done, figuring out the campaign, doing the marketing, also doing like work. And so like I've just been super tired. And when we funded, like, so when you fund a campaign, BackerKit sends you an email saying, congratulations, you just got funded. You should send a update out to everyone to let them know. So I got that email, and I was already writing an update. I sent out the update that we were funded, and immediately upon sending the update, someone canceled their pledge, and it dropped us like $100 beneath the goal after I had just been like, we're funded. And I was like, God, this is so it kind of felt I was kind of like embarrassed, because I was like, I just told everyone we're funded and now we're not. Like it fortunately it was not about the money. I was like, my wife was very much like, I can just back it and we'll push you back over. It's fine. And I'm like, it's not about the money. It's about, I was told to like do this thing, and then like because I emailed people too soon, like I lost the funding, and like, so it's definitely an emotional roller coaster. But you know, I get it, right? Like everyone, we all have our financial reasons, and like shit's rough right now. And so, you know, I'm just super honored that enough of you stuck with it and are helping me make this game. So I'm just very grateful for it. But I will say that was like emotionally very difficult at the time. Now I'm over it. I'm fine. But and I think that just goes to say that, like, at the end of the day, I had to keep in mind that like this isn't just like this thing that happens, right? Like I have to keep in mind that each one of you are electing to spend your hard-earned money on this thing that I'm coming up with. And I like, I shouldn't, I definitely can't take that for granted, but also that, like, yeah, people maybe have their own reasons for needing to you know, like, unback or whatever, you know? And I'm sure that person wasn't like looking at my page like I was, and you know, ooh, sorry. Holy shit, that's like thunder outside my apartment, I think. Now my cats are gonna freak the fuck out. I hope that's thunder. Anyway, sorry, my cats are like traumatized by thunder, because the last time the winds in my area got super crazy was when we had to evacuate and like throw them in a thing, but into a carrier and like leave in the middle of the night. So they're rightfully a little bit jumpy, you know. But sorry, I'm all over the place. I'm like trying to tell multiple stories. Thunder's going on, and then like, yeah, right. And you like buyer's guilt, totally right. There's all these reasons that are totally valid, totally fine, why someone would undo their pledge, you know. And I think that's the thing overall, right? Is like, you have to learn that, like, when you put stuff out there, it's not like really about you. It's about, like, you know, or stuff that happens, right? Like, not gonna lie, I backed a bunch of other games, and then when the tariffs came, I was like, maybe I shouldn't. Like, I can't afford to back these other games, because I might have to pay a bunch to, like... make the actual game happen, you know? But yeah. But anyway, that's being an artist, or being a semi-professional artist, you know. Yeah, well, thank you. And also, you know, you don't have to float us, you know. We're random. I'm just a random dude on the internet that you're meeting for the first time. But I do appreciate the concern. Okay, I feel like she looks way more dead than she used to, which I'm kind of into. And I kind of like some of the warm shadows that are going on over here. I don't know if I like that part. But I'm not convinced I need to change it yet. How's that? Okay. Just trying to blend a little bit more of some of the areas. Sometimes the dream tells you to fix your art. That is amazing. What does that look like? You get a dream and it's like, is it as specific as like the perspective on that leg is off? Or is it just more of like, oh, I have like, I want to do something better. It is that specific? That's awesome. I love it. You can do better. That one little weird detail. You know, okay, but that's actually really amazing because that is a... I think that's your subconscious knowing, like, it's like, you know, like, while I'm painting, there's probably going to be all this stuff that I, like, forget, and then, especially because I'm talking, and then later on, it's going to be like, oh, make that quick fix. Okay. Oh god, that was dangerous. Okay, don't ask me why, but I have a marble on my desk and it like rolled down over my palette where I have, and it like I was just like, please don't keep going, please stop, don't go through the paint, and it didn't, and I lucked out. It's a weird thing to have happen to you, but it is what it is. Okay, so okay, hopefully I won't block out the thing. Yeah, unexpected. No worries. Take care of the pup. I'm gonna try to do this quick little detailing on the eyes. think from... I don't know if you can even see what I'm doing from that level, but... Yeah, that's crazy. All it's like storming outside my place now. It's like April. I guess. Oh, okay. I guess you can say it's like the April shower thing. But. Anyway. So sorry, all the cult crafter people. Your portraits aren't gonna look like this as much. You get weird, like, digital art as opposed to my gallery work. To be honest, like, when I was making the art for the game, I was thinking about, like, one, I knew I wanted to have it be so that you could, you know, I knew I wanted to paint people into the game. That was, like, for sure a thing I wanted to do. But then when I was designing it, I was like, I also knew how many illustrations I needed to do for the game. And given the time, I was like, I can only take so much time per illustration. So I had to find an art style that still looked good, in my opinion, but then also was something that I could do at a certain speed, you know. And today's kombucha of the day, Synergy Golden Pineapple. Totally you know, I really wish I had a kombucha company that sponsored me, but I don't. That's just like my weird kombucha drinking thing. Do I enjoy digital? I do. And if you can't get into it, like, I really like sour kind of tart stuff, so no worries if that's not your thing. What was I gonna say? This little lady over, we'll start working on her. Yeah, I do enjoy digital, but I prefer traditional a lot more. I'm way faster digital in a lot of ways. I mean, like, there's so many shortcuts in terms of, like, you know, you can trace perspective with digital, or like you can just easily, I don't know, faster and easier, but like there's something visceral about using paint that I really enjoy. So yeah. Oh yeah, feeling and sniffing paper. That's where the magic is. It is very raining. I am so surprised. I was not expecting the rain at all. That's okay. Yeah, like that. You know, to be fair, I could argue I'm faster traditional too. I think it all depends on the style I'm trying to do and like what it is I need to get done. I originally had like this really complex triptych thing that like where all of the skateboards were kind of like there were hands, like the witches were like bending, like reaching around each other and like their hands on the face, and it was a very technical thing. And I just don't have like these skateboards have to be to the like I have to drop these off at the curator's house tomorrow. So like cuz they're for a show in San Francisco, so like I got to get these done. Even if that means all night tonight, they're going to get done. But like I probably would have been faster painting that really complex thing with digital because I could have like traced the composition and stuff from the reference photos. But then I was like, portraits will be faster. It's easier. So I feel bad because I kind of like, you could argue I sort of gave up an idea because I didn't have enough time, but that's the other reality of like having deadlines and stuff. Is that sometimes you just have to, have to make it happen even if it's not ideal. Alright, time to do the bottom lip. That's probably too bright, I think. Yeah, dreams versus reality. Oh, that's cool. Congrats on the art show. That's always very exciting. How many pieces are you doing? Damn. Well, you know, I think to your point, it's like, did you have time to do the one sooner? Or is it going to take you the time to do... Yeah, see, so like, I don't know. So like, I don't know, if you're serious in that like, you're really feeling like you can't get it done in time, it's probably better to like I used to help curate and run a gallery many moons ago, and yeah, like I would much prefer that artists would be like real with me and be like, yo, I can't get like I'm too busy, whatever, I can't do your show, like, sorry. I would much rather have that as opposed to have someone be like, yeah, I can do it, and then like pull out later. That it makes it really hard to plan shows when artists pull out. Why is this like song in my royalty free? How is this? Sorry, I'm changing that because I feel like I'm gonna get like a censorship strike or whatever. Miss old internet. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I don't mind it. Like, I'm not paying these artists for their music. They just get the royalties, like the 0.002 cents from from each stream I give them, you know. So I don't know. I don't necessarily blame them. But it's more so that I'm like, how come this was in my playlist of stuff that's supposed to be royalty free or like cleared for like use on YouTube and everything. So that's more my complaint. I was trying to get the shadows to like push that back part of her lip backwards. It's like coming forward. Just building up shadows around the face, trying to just move around to sculpt it a little bit more is sort of what I'm going for. I know. Nope, still too dark. was creating like her scalp, so I'm gonna actually probably go in a little bit later to like. You don't want just like a straight line that goes back. You want like the hair. It's like look at anyone's part. It doesn't actually do that. There's like hairs that are like bouncing back and forth on it. So that's what I'm gonna try to do a little bit later. This one's kind of interesting because I feel like the eyes came a little bit faster than other pieces, but okay. Just coming along. Oh, wait, yours is jagged? Sorry, what's jagged? Oh, you mean the hair part line? Yeah, like that's pretty natural for most people. It's like it goes back and forth a little bit. Well, so since you found Colt Crafter like 8 hours ago, right before it ended, did you have any questions on the game or any like I can't just completely stop to do Colt Crafter stuff, but if you have questions, I'm happy. Since you're here from the campaign, I'm totally happy to answer any questions. While I otherwise just paint a weird, creepy lady. Oh, I need to fix her eyebrows. That's what I could work on now. I think part of painting is just knowing what to work on next. Sometimes I'm like, what the hell am I even doing? What am I painting here? Why am I painting it? Where is Gamora? What is Gamora? When? Is Gamora? Who is Gamora? What is Gamora? I forgot how it goes. Anyway. Alright. Let's try to fix her eyebrows a little bit. Cool art and preface. Well, There's a little bit. Like, to be honest, it's like the werewolf game is my partner shifted. That game is a little bit more social deduction, a little bit like creepy tradery type stuff. But mine's, I don't know if you've ever played Ticket to Ride, but like the way I would describe my game is like Ticket to Ride meets Smash Up, but if everything was monsters and cultists. Oh, yeah. Ticket to Ride's really fun. So basically, just to let you know what you backed, what you're paying for here. Uh, Sorry, I was like, I actually really need to focus for that second while I was doing that. And I was like, oh, I can't, gotta think. A lot of focus there. Uh, so there's 7 demonic aspects in the game. There's like blood, bone, darkness, flesh, pain, madness, and rot. And so each one has a different color. Each one has a different little sigil thing. And you get a god like the, I don't know. You'll get a god like one of these. Flesh god, blood god, bone and rot god, flesh. Like, hopefully, like, the color coding makes it easy, kind of. Anyway, but you get a god, and they give you bonuses for certain aspects, and they punish you for other ones. And then you're, like, drawing these cultists, which are going to be people's faces or cat heads. Not, like, this. This is just filler art. And so you can see each one has like a different little thing that goes on here. They all have their own aspects. And filler art. Yeah, it is filler art. Because I let people pledge to have their face or their dog's face or their cat's face turned into cultists to add to the game. So yeah. And then you have other things like there's like a bunch of resource cards. So there's 3 different decks. This is the 3rd one. And there's like idols. Like this one gained 5 tribute for each 3 bone cultists you own. But then there's other stuff like assassination cards or bribery, or there's conspiracy theorists and like, I don't know, coups. I don't know, a bunch of other like power cards. Quaint, honestly. Yeah, no, I totally get it. It's not cheap. It's not cheap. So I appreciate you considering it. Thank you. So she's coming along. The nice thing about traditional media is if you need to smear something, you can with like your finger, you know. But anyway, and then So you're just trying to get the most cultiest cult. You're just trying to make the most tribute. Because kind of the whole background behind the game is that, like, while, like, I wanted to talk about my fictional cult, the Order of the Dark Wheel, the one that summons the demons and everything, I also wanted to make, subtle commentary on, like, real cults and how they just, most of them only care about your money and conning people into paying them to be culty. Or even, might cost somebody their life, which is very not cool, so that's kind of all there too. But yeah. So like there's some subtle jabs into cults for sure in mine, um, including political ones. But uh, but yeah, there's like definitely jabs at Scientology and stuff on there. So it is what it is. Okay. I feel like I need to clean up that part. That's really watery, so that's going to dry a little differently than what I'm thinking. But I should have done more stuff in the game. I mean, it's not too late, but I should have done more stuff in the game about like wellness stuff. I feel like painting is just like a back and forth game, You're like, oh, too much. No, too much the other way. Back and forth. little bit too red. Ugh. Back and forth we go. Yeah, it is. It is kind of peaceful. Also kind of stressful, but I don't think it should be. The fact that you mentioned it's peaceful has helped me paint more peacefully. I wanted to make that like little part in and underneath her nose a little bit just softer. She definitely looks very dead, which is good. Okay, I guess now is the time to get out the super tiny detail brush. This one. To do some little bit of highlighting, little bit of other things. Mostly highlights. Cool. Thank you. No worries. I have to go feed my cats in like half an hour anyway. But thanks for stopping by. Thanks for pledging and backing, making Cult Crafter happen. I hope your doggo's doing well. And thanks. Have a wonderful evening as well. I know for a fact that you probably couldn't see me. You're like, what's going on? You're like, oh, it's eyelashes. But I wouldn't expect you to actually be able to see that, so sorry. All this fine detail stuff that no one can on stream can see. Apologies. So now it's kind of the fun part of just like doing a bunch of like hair detailing. Just bringing out like little strands here and there. I don't want her quite as disheveled and as crazy as the other portrait, but I still want to add a little bit of interest to it. Right. Oh, okay. You know, the more you stare at something, you just have to keep moving your eye around so, like, you catch what you need to do. I think I need to add dimension to the top lip. A little flat to me right now, so. Add a wee bit of purple out. That's what needs to happen. Did you see something just fall? What was that? Like, oh, that was crazy. I thought it was a bottle cap. It's actually a light, like a tea light that I have like a mask I'm trying to make up there, and I guess I had just taped temporarily this like tea lights inside the eyes, and it just fell out. But I was like, what is that? I think given the storm, I was all like, I assumed, I don't know, something else maybe. I was just like, what's going on? I feel like I want to reshape that nose a little bit, or like the shadow of the nose. The problem is that was slightly lighter than what I needed it to be. smooth that out a little bit. I think we're getting close. We are getting close. All right. Cool. All right. I think the next step is probably going to be a boring step, which is making sure that all of the blacks are a little bit more uniform than they are. So apologies ahead of time as I paint black things more black. This is what happens when you're like me and you paint really messily with like a lot of colors mixed into your blacks. You don't get a really consistent thing, which is actually usually good if you're doing a full representational kind of classical painting. But when you're doing something a little bit more graphic, like what I'm doing right now, it's not as good. There's actually a little bit of color in the hair that I want to keep. But at least this background I kind of want to flatten out a little bit. And also, since I'm painting acrylic, I made so my wife paints on unprimed wood a lot, and I kind of forgot about how, like, you want to paint fairly thick if you're painting on unprimed wood. Ideally, you clear gesso it, which I didn't do. Or, I mean, you could any gesso it, but you could gesso it clear or otherwise. It's just a little bit of spots here. I think the problem was on this deck. I don't know if you can see the difference in like blacks or lack of it. Is that I was using a different black to do a lot of this. There's some blue up here that I want to keep, but I need to marry a lot of this and just paint over it. With the new black that I'm using, or the different brand. I like that like the other witches are not quite as like I feel like this one is total like Evil Dead, Deadite kind of vibes, and the rest are kind of like obviously creepy witches, but she definitely has like the manic thing going for her. You know what I mean? Which is kind of fun. I think it was also the paint handling too. And like trying a lot of different things here. But yeah, I don't know. There we are. There we are. So the idea is that these hang like this. Can't see that probably very well. Okay, see Instagram, I'm closing you so I can focus on this. Oops, sorry, there we go. Yep. So there we have it. I think I do want to clean this one up a little bit. There's something charming about like the paint application I don't want to lose, but I also need it to be a little bit more refined. But I think that was it. I think it was really just around the cheeks that was driving me crazy. I think they all have their own desperately creepy vibe. You know? They're not all the same. Same. Not the same. Alright. Okie dokie. I think we're getting close to finishing this. Like, I think there's probably stuff in each of these I could probably touch up some more. I don't want to touch this one. No. Okay. I'll have to just do this on my leg, but I just need to re-sign some of these. Because like this one, I thought I was done painting, and then I recolored it. Okie dokie. That's pretty much it. I realize I still need to go buy hanging equipment to fix these up. But yeah, hopefully this was interesting to some of you, some sort. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for making Cult Crafter a reality. And yeah, stay tuned. I stream this time every week, or I try to stream this week on Thursdays. If that's of interest to anyone. But yeah, thanks so much for hanging out. I hope you have a great evening or day or whatever. And yeah, thanks so much. I'll catch you later. Bye-bye. GGGN. Okay, bye. Wow, that was like a million GG. That was weird. Anyway, okay, bye.